So I want to start with this. Damar Hamlin, the injury, as somebody who played in this NFL for 6 years, all with the Dolphins, I was sick to my stomach as a broadcaster. I literally, after a while, I shut the TV off. I got off social. I just it was rough. As a player, how did it land for you?
Oh, it hit me hard. And Colin, I've seen ankle bones pop out during games. I've seen, got dozens of guys get knocked out, eyes rolled in the back of their head and all of that. When an individual technically dies, cardiac arrest, your heart stops, you stop breathing. On the field, you're seeing them do the defibrillator. You're seeing them give a teammate CPR. That's something that blew my mind. I saw a guy paralyzed in high school, and my coach had to convince me to finish the game. And it wasn't that extreme. Like the guy was laying there. I just saw his body go limp, and mentally I was gone. So after watching that and seeing Tre'Davious White, seeing Stephon Diggs, seeing Josh Allen, seeing, guys I know, seeing their reactions, these tough barbarian guys, it messed me up. My son is about to start playing tackle football. We were training before this happened, and now I'm watching it with my son who I'm preparing to play this game. It really got to me at a higher level of any other of these terrible injuries I've seen in the past. Prayers and thoughts for his family, everything we say, but I really think the NFL did a good job not playing that game. And as a player, all the players I've talked to, that was something that was unprecedented on a field of play.
I said this between Tua and Teddy. This is a big man's game. I mean, Channing, you're a big guy, right? Even the quarterbacks, Ben's big, Cam was big, Peyton's big, Tom's big, Herbert's big, Allen's big. It's a big man's game. Tua's not. And now we have injuries. And now we have the Hamlin situation. And I can see the Miami brass in the offseason saying, guys, we got this is the franchise. You're in Miami. You know this franchise. Do you think, if I said to you 12 months from today, Tua's the quarterback, are they still, because some of this stuff is just bad breaks. It's just unfortunate. Where do you think the Dolphins are privately on Tua right now?
Evaluating the entire quarterback room. I'm with you, Colin. And I've been a Tua fan. There's a Tua non, the Tua detractors and all. I'm a Tua guy. I like Tua. Now, he's a talented dude. But as you see him getting concussions off not devastating hits, he's not having, Julius Peppers and Von Miller dive in the back of his head. He's getting wrapped up around the legs and he's falling down and getting those concussions. A guy, the availability, the best ability is availability. That's the thing with Tua that I'm concerned with right now. Super capable guy. You saw the stretch he had when they were winning, when he was having 300-yard back-to-back games in the MVP conversation, but then he gets hurt again, and he gets hurt again. So now we're looking at it. And to tell everybody, he's not playing the rest of the season. I don't care what happens in, New York. And Tua can't go back to your point about the injuries and the sensitivity of injuries right now in the NFL. But the entire quarterback room, Colin, Teddy Bridgewater went in for Tua and got hurt himself. 2 games he replaced Tua. So he goes in there and gets a concussion second play of the game, and then he breaks his finger. So the entire quarterback room has to be addressed. And Miami coming in this year was Superman with osteoporosis. They had it all.
Yeah.
If you look at the roster, they're loaded. They have Ogba. They have Jalen Phillips. They went and got Bradley Chubb. They went and revamped the running back room. Tyreek Hill's there, one of the best receiver in the league, top 3 for sure. We can argue. Waddle's still there. They're loaded. The defensive secondary is loaded. One of the best top 10 defenses last season. And now Brandon Jones gets hurt. Byron Jones gets hurt. Xavier Howard's out now. Teron Armstead, he doesn't even practice throughout the week. They were a loaded roster. They looked great on paper. But so many injuries just killed this team. And the biggest one is Tua Tagovailoa not being able to stay healthy, stay on the field. So the entire roster, but really this quarterback room from 1 all the way down to 3 has to be evaluated in the offseason.
I said this, is that if you connect the dots, this offense comes from, for you people out there, if somebody crosses their arms, that's rejection. They don't like what you're saying. It's a defensive pose. So body language, there are body language experts out there. Attorneys tell their clients, dress nicely, don't roll your eyes, don't shrug your shoulders for this or that. So body language matters. And I've been saying this for years on this show, and I'm always amazed at the pushback. Jay Cutler was somebody I used to bang on all the time for terrible body language. We later found out a lot of teammates didn't like him. It was a tell. In poker, they call it a tell. For years, Aaron Rodgers, 10 years ago, I'm like, his body language is awful. And we found out Aaron's difficult and prickly and moody. Kyler Murray's body language stinks. We found out he alienates even Larry Fitzgerald. Body language is real. So Boomer Esiason on radio in New York, WFAN, said he just can't stand the Patriots' body language with Mac Jones.
Here's the thing that I really dislike about Mac Jones, if you want to get to the root of it. His body language, his facial expressions, his gyrations on the field piss me off. Body language for a quarterback is so important. And I hate when quarterbacks sulk on the sideline. You know, they have to be above all of that. They have to have the backbone. They have to have the leadership bone. They have to be able to look guys in the face, know what they're doing. You know, don't come off with your hands in the air.
And now it's easy to say, and I have defended Mac Jones saying they're screwing with his career. I understand he's angry. But Trevor Lawrence was dealt a horrible hand with Urban Meyer first year in Jacksonville. His body language wasn't awful. Let's be honest about Tua. The first 2 years, I mean, his coach wanted him out of the building, didn't want him in the franchise. He was always great at the podium. He was always great with body language. That's never been an issue. So I do think it's gotten worse and worse. Sometimes Matt comes off as a spoiled brat. I have always defended quarterbacks on being emotional. Like I like them. If they have to yell at a coach or yell at a teammate, I'm okay. Brady's done it. I'm okay with that. But the body language for Mac, there's a lot of finger pointing. I don't think it's great. He defended himself on Boston morning radio.
For me, it's just trying to channel my competitiveness in a good way and just continue to be Mac. Obviously, want to have a respect for everybody that plays in this league and coaches in this league. So I'm definitely things I can get better at. And just like with execution of football plays, it's the same idea, just trying to grow and earn the respect of people. Obviously, most importantly, in the building.
I mean, we have to be honest about it. He was a child actor. He goes to Alabama. He's a great high school quarterback. He had a very good rookie year. This is the first time maybe in his life he's losing a lot. Things aren't going his way. They called him McEnroe Jones at Alabama, so he's got a temper. So, he grew up, pretty good life, and a lot of wins, a lot of support, a lot of momentum. Now he's not getting it. So, but I could make that same argument for Trevor Lawrence. His body language is great. But I appreciate Boomer Esiason saying this. It does matter. Quarterback is different. I've said for years, I don't care about the Wonderlic test. But I kind of do want to know the score if you're a quarterback. Like if it was 8 or 9 or 10, I'd be like, wow, cognitively, that's a hard position to play. You gotta memorize a lot. I don't love that number. So they're everything I think as a quarterback counts. I think your body language counts. What was your upbringing? Were you a spoiled brat? I mean, I always said this. Zach Wilson reminded me of Johnny Manziel. Both grew up with lots of money. I didn't like it. I was not a fan of it. I like my quarterbacks. I like the fact that Aaron Rodgers had to go to a junior college and Tom Brady went to the 6th round and Russell Wilson told he ran too much and was too short and Dak went to the 4th round and Big Ben had to go to Ohio, Miami of Ohio. Matt Ryan didn't get a lot of great offers, had to go to BC. Phillip Rivers, NC State. If you go look at the history, not a lot of big USC quarterbacks crushing and Alabama quarterbacks crushing in the NFL. The guys that are doubted, are mocked, fall in the draft, have a chip on their shoulder, do very well in this draft. Very few quarterbacks were number 1 in high school, number 1 in college, number 1 pick star. Peyton Manning's an outlier. You think it would be like that, right? Well, he's the best high schooler, best college quarterback, number 1 pick. Very rarely happens. Matt Stafford's had a very good career, but he had to go to Detroit and go through that tunnel of losing. There was a time in the NFL when there were no USC quarterbacks, no Alabama starting quarterbacks, and 3 from NC State. So is Mac a little spoiled? A lot of these Alabama quarterbacks, they don't get hit. I mean, they don't get sacked. They got number 1, they got 2 first-round wide receivers, a first-round left tackle, a first-round running back, the best college football coach ever. Maybe that's part of it, is this is the first distress he's really, really faced, and he's not dealing with it well. I don't know. But I do appreciate Boomer Esiason coming out and saying, yes, this stuff matters. Everything matters for quarterbacks. I don't give a rip. If my corner has made mistakes or did this or did that, he's a corner. Shut your guy down. I'm not going to worry. corners don't generally speak for a franchise. They don't call the plays. They're not a coach on the field. Channing Crowder, former Dolphin linebacker, has become a great broadcaster and